Hi boss babes, welcome back to my channel. You know, as we say, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. Today we are studying some of my favorite iconic scammers and female frauds. Because so many of you are chronically online homeschoolers, I'm gonna do a very lengthy disclaimer. I do not condone fraud. I do not condone scammers. I do not think it is okay to take people's money. I do not think it is okay to lie. I do not think it is acceptable to evade taxes. I do not think these women are role models or examples of good behavior. When I say iconic slay, I do not mean that in actuality. I'm clearly joking. So also, if you think this is educational content, probably click away. If you're interested in any of these women and you're gonna go in the comments, this was not very good, lengthy description. Please go look them up on Wikipedia because this is just for fun. This is not serious. Let's address the elephant in the room. Also, I am in an LDS church. On the bottom of the pyramid is Miss Jen Shah. Now, if you guys watched my Real Housewives of Salt Lake City video, you would know that I just despise Jen Shah. Did she make good TV? Yeah, but it wasn't worth how absolutely grating and annoying she was. She was rude to every single person in her life. She defrauded the elderly. Here, I actually have notes on exactly what she did. Was arrested in March 2021 on charges of wire fraud, money laundering, and scamming the elderly. Yeah, her marketing business that she was running was basically just selling vulnerable old people's information to companies that would go in and scam them. She made millions of dollars off this, and every time she was accused of being a scammer, she was just like, oh my gosh, you're racist. Which is just so tacky. She was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison, but she is getting out early for good behavior, which I find shocking because I have never found her pleasant, nor any of her behavior good.
Shut the up about Mary! I'm so glad that you were able to, yes!
I don't think
Go
that.
ahead and think that. Get my purse, get my f***ing phone, let's go.
Let's go. Come to
Shut the up.
Okay.
Don't come at her.
Jen!
Don't come at her like that. That's not.
Also in prison, she's become friends with Elizabeth Holmes, which is so funny. She is kind of funny, but she's left a bitter taste in my mouth from reality television and also like old people that's like low, you know? Next we have Belle Gibson. Now her scam was cancer related, which you know, anything health and wellness is sensitive to me. I extra hate you if you're lying to people about cancer. So basically this woman claimed to have cured her cancer through nutrition and wellness. She built an entire company off this lie.
And it was really traumatizing. I was feeling a huge amount of grief.
Grief for not having cancer.
Yes.
Of course, it comes out that she lied to everybody and it was fraud. She was then fined $410,000 for her lies. Oh, she was an influencer, typical. Next, we have everybody's least favorite, Lori Loughlin. I think she represents everybody that was a part of the college admissions scandal, but obviously she's become the face of it. Basically, she paid $500,000 to get her daughter into USC, which like, that's not even an Ivy League to pay $500,000 to get your daughter into like a good school, but not an Ivy League is actually wild. Like, and her poor daughter having to see this knowing like, she seriously had that little faith in me for getting into college. Hilarious. She was sentenced to 2 months in prison, had to pay $150,000 and complete 100 hours of community service. Now, I feel like that sentencing is not nearly enough. Like, if she was willing to pay $500,000 on top of USC tuition, I can't believe they weren't willing to be like, oh, okay, well, maybe just take what you were gonna pay for her college and pay for this fine. Like, $150,000, this whole sentence feels like she got off way easy. Obviously, she was able to afford like the creme de la creme of lawyers, but are you kidding me? She should have done something positive with that money. Maybe make a Lori Loughlin scholarship. That would be hilarious. Oh, and poor Olivia Jade is like so embarrassing now. Like, you should have just let her make her shitty YouTube videos. Oh, it's awkward to swear in the church. But I guess she is dating Jacob Elordi now. So she's been through it all, but it was worthwhile. And what's a pyramid without the queen of pyramids? That's right, Miss Abby Lee Miller. I'm obviously putting her at the bottom because it's nice for her to get a taste of her own medicine, you know? So if you don't know who this is, Abby Lee Miller is famous from the show Dance Moms, where she basically abused children at her dance studio and screamed at them and was really mean to them, and then they went to dance competitions.
Snake! You're a snake and a snake!
I love that show. Let me know if you want me to get into Dance Mom's lore on this page because I've been thinking about it, but I wasn't sure if it's overdone. Basically, she goes to jail for bankruptcy fraud. What a treat. That is like karma working in the absolute best way. Like, she's the worst person. And then she goes to jail for bankruptcy fraud and gets cancer. And now I think she can't walk, or she just has mobility issues. Like, if you do, I'm not saying that you're like cursed or something. I'm just saying that God worked in mysterious ways for her. Hope I don't get in trouble for saying that. You guys know I mean love. In 2017, she pleads guilty because she basically was hiding her income from the Dance Moms TV show. When she filed for bankruptcy, she was accused of hiding around $775,000 in assets when she filed for bankruptcy. Like, that is like huge lie. So as a result, she was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison. She also owed $40,000 and she had to be supervised for 2 years after her prison. So to me, this actually feels like fair. Maybe she should have owed more money, but like a year in prison for a woman of this age and stature, that probably sucked. On the next row, we have Miss Anna Delvey. Okay, actually, if I watch the show, I can do a really good impression, but I haven't seen it in a minute, okay? So please don't judge. Anna's going here because the Netflix series was really a flop. I did not think it was good. And you might think that's kind of a shallow reason to put that there, but it's my channel, so. Basically, Anna, I think she was Russian, but she pretended to be a German heiress who moves to New York City and just starts hubbubbing with all these rich people and scamming them. One of the famous stories that's in the Netflix series is she has this friend who's a journalist who really trusts her, but is a little bit using her. So it's kind of like all's fair in love and war, I mean, obviously that's rude, but like obviously the friend was using her a little bit. Anyway, she's like, let's go to Morocco. I sound more like World of Shirts than I do German. Let's go to Morocco, and they go to Morocco, and basically she gets in trouble, and the friend who's like just a journalist has to pay for everything, and you know journalists are not making big bucks to pay for like a giant luxury Moroccan trip. So honestly, I don't think it was that bad because she was scamming people who are already rich. I mean, besides the journalist. But basically she was like pretending to know art, and she kind of did. Like, she had good taste. Your clothes make you look poor. That was my favorite line. But she just kind of falls in between. Like, obviously what she did was bad, but it's not like she was defrauding elderly or cancer patients. She was just like trying to be a boss babe, you know? She was just like fake it till you make it, but took it too far, you know? She was convicted of a lot of things, including grand larceny, and her sentence was 4 to 12 years plus a fine of $200,000. I think she only ended up serving 4 because she's out now, but I'm sure she's on probation. The fine was like no big deal for her, I'm sure, because she's had so much press and she's had so much social media clout, and she's been able to get a deal with Netflix. I think she's working on a book, so it's like almost like if you scam so hard that you become a public figure, it's like you still end up making money. Like, it's kind of genius. Like, same thing with Wolf of Wall Street. Like, he's out and now he's a motivational speaker. You've got to be kidding me. The Catch Me If You Can airplane guy, he has a musical and a movie after him. Are you kidding me? It's like, if you want to do fraud and scam, you just have to get so high up that you become noteworthy enough to have like a series or a book. So note that. Actually, if you are the government, please don't like take me seriously for that, because like that could maybe get me in trouble. I feel like she probably wasted a lot more than $200,000. Why aren't you just sentenced to pay exactly back what you scammed out of people? Because $200,000 feels low for how much balling she was doing. Next, we have the Chrisley couple. Obviously, he's a man, but obviously he's girly pop, so he gets included. Now, honestly, they're one of my favorite reality TV couples. They just slay on another level. I just love them. They're up higher just because they're awesome, but I do feel like their crimes were boring. Let me tell you what they were. So basically, they got in trouble for tax evasion, bank fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit bank fraud. So a whole bunch of things. They just really didn't want to pay taxes, so they like faked documents and like did a bunch of shady background money stuff. And like, I get it, babe. Paying taxes is probably the worst thing. It's so confusing. It's way more expensive than it should be. And it's literally going to dumb shit. I don't think it's that bad. Like, what? So, I mean, they're rich, so okay, the military got a little bit of a defense budget cut. To me, that's probably one of the most tame of these crimes. Anyway, in October 2020, they plead guilty for bank fraud. Todd was sentenced to 12 years in prison, and Julie was sentenced to 7 years. That seems like the most of anybody on this list. That is like so sad because they are probably the least awful. Next on the pyramid, we have Miss Cassie Chadwick. Yeah, we're doing a bit of a throwback because I like history. So I think Miss Cassie is literally hysterical because she just went around pretending to be Andrew Carnegie's illegitimate daughter to scam everyone. Yeah, like Andrew Carnegie, like on Carnegie Mellon and probably everything in New York, like Gilded Age bajillionaire. And it's like, he wasn't distributing the wealth properly, so she just took the matter into her own hands. Can you blame her? she's just a girl. She would just like forge documents being like, yeah, Andrew Carnegie's my dad. And the banks would be like, okay, here's a loan, here's a loan, here's a loan, here's a loan. Finally, she was caught and then she was sentenced to 14 years in prison. So yeah, really sad downfall, but I just hope my girl Cassie lived it up, had a good time. I hope prison didn't treat her too harshly, but she's like Robin Hood, but she just wanted new shoes, you know? Next is one of my favorite ladies, Martha Stewart. Yes, everybody's favorite IG baddie, Martha Stewart. She's my favorite crafting crook. Crafting criminals, crocheting criminals. She'll host an epic Thanksgiving party and she'll also host an epic trial. So basically she went to jail for insider trading, but I think that's dumb because every single, almost allegedly, every single one of our US representatives does insider trading. There's so many websites that are like, what Nancy Pelosi is doing today. How to trade like Nancy Pelosi. So it's like for her to go to jail for something that everybody up there does is just ridiculous. But I think one of the things that makes her a favorite to me is the way that she took the situation as an opportunity to learn and grow, and she came out more famous and cool because of it. Like then she was like, okay, prison hardened me up, now I'm besties with Snoop Dogg. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like she's like in her what, 70s, and she says I'm a baddie now. She had a whole rebrand in her 70s, maybe 80s, I don't know, but I just love her for that. Definitely 70s. Her sentencing was 5 months in federal prison, 2 years of supervised release, and a $30,000 fine. Honestly, what would be fair? Nothing. She shouldn't have had to do anything. There, I said it. Unless we want to send every single member of Congress to the slammer. Okay, I'm actually scared to put this one next because I think people are gonna be way pissed at me for this. But you know her. You probably hate her. Or you're scared of her. Elizabeth Holmes. Damn it, I ran out of space. Elizabeth Holmes is the founder of Theranos, which is a company that promised to be revolutionary blood testing for everyone. The problem is that she basically got all these investors and employees and was selling it and doing all these things without a working product, and she knew that it didn't work, and she lied to a lot of people and wasted a lot of money and got into a lot of trouble. She was charged with so many counts of fraud and has to spend 20 years in prison. Now the reasons that I've put her here: 1, her series was phenomenal with Amanda Seyfried. Is that how you say that? Amanda Seyfried was so hysterical playing her. She was so good, and it was a very fun series to watch. Now, sorry, there's somebody coming, and I'm like uncomfortable that I have my ring light set up and everything. I hope it's not the bishop. That would be really awkward. She had that creepy, way too old boyfriend, and I feel like he honestly did a lot of the criminal activities and really pushed her toward this bad place. I feel like she was groomed, and that's part of why she made those decisions. I'm kind of an apologist, okay? 3, I feel like a lot of the executives were kind of dumb. At least that's how the Hulu show portrays it, so maybe that's just my take. Now we have the full view. I'm so sorry that the angle has changed 4 times, but you gotta make room for our number 1 slot. You certainly won't guess it, but our number 1 slot goes to icon Helga de la Brock. Gosh, I don't know. Now, Helga is a Swedish countess who would basically just marry rich men and then come up with like crazy schemes to get their money. So she would like marry and divorce, or similar to our other historic queen, she at one point convinced Swedish authorities that she was a secret legitimate daughter of King Gustav V of Sweden and obtained a royal pension off of that. She royally girl bossed. To me, I am so impressed that she was able to take down the patriarchy, the monarchy, and capitalism in like the freaking 1800s. Yes, girl boss, yes, queen. Unfortunately, she was caught and she was arrested and sentenced to prison multiple times. But you know what? I love that she was able to just like pick herself up and keep going. Some of her sentencings were fraud and bigamy, but maybe she's a role model. I don't know.